a man who's known, I think, how to make a hit film longer than most people have. Who's had perhaps scale as this big. When he makes this bigger scale also, it makes that much money also. So Vipul Shah sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Nice you've done like an entire array, a library of cinema, and I think you know exactly what works. And a lady who I feel is one of the most underrated performers in Bollywood. I'll tell you why. I remember when 1920 first came out, that was one of the scariest indigenous Indian films that actually did scare the living daylights out of people. That was a long time back. Now, of course, she's enjoying the run at the box office. But Adah,
yes.
If somebody saw your Instagram, they saw 1920 and then they saw Kerala Story and they saw Bastar, they think like there's like some different personalities inside.
I'm glad.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And a gentleman who we've now understood is a marathoner who's a long-time walker. Of course, on the side, he's a filmmaker as well. Because he's walked the length and breadth of this country. A very celebrated filmmaker. And not just when you look at the number of films that have released in the box office of Bollywood. And we'll tell you what that actually means. So Sudipto sir, thank you so much for joining us. And I did actually mean that you've walked the length and breadth of this country. And whenever you meet people for 5 minutes and behave like, we've been friends for like 7,000 years, which is what we do on camera. But I was reading about how, to make cinema like this, whether it's a Kerala Story or it's Bastar, the research required is tremendous. Now, I'm half Assamese and half Bengali. So I'm actually quite averse with this culture, what's there as far as the Naxalwadi culture that people talk about, because my mama was a lawyer, the other mama was with police. So we've actually seen at close length what this is, the Ulfa militants and all those kind of things. You need to have incredible research to be able to pinpoint it. You can't just say, "Aaj mere ko picture banana hai," and I take out some paper cuttings. Your historical background as a director also shows that you have a lot of research potential. So are you somebody like that who's always somebody who writes out reams and reams of research material for a film?
No, I am an avid reader. That is from my childhood. And I got an opportunity to see the evolution of the Maoist movement, Naxalite movement from my childhood, because my real sister was in this movement. That is a different part of the story. I'll tell you some other time. Okay. So my sister was 17 years elder than me. I was born in 1968.
Right.
So 1968 was almost the inception of this Naxalite movement in North Bengal.
True.
My house was just 45 kilometers away from my native place, is 45 kilometers from Naxalbari. So I saw these people, saw the evolution of these people. I mean, Charu Mujumdar, Jungle Shautal, Sansoran Bose. So they were the household name that time. And in being Assamese and I am being a Bengali, in the
I'm half Bengali also.
Achha, half Bengali. In childhood, our practice is to read Sharat Chandra Chattopadhyay, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Rabindranath Tagore. But in my house, along with them, we used to read Karl Marx. We used to read Lenin, Stalin, all these Dostoevsky, all these things. We had been read because मेरे घर की वही किताब रहता था मेरे घर में. So that is the beginning. So and then I shifted to Calcutta for my higher studies. I studied applied psychology. So Freud was my icon.
My God.
So
it's communism, Marxism and
just
Freud.
Mixing of Freud, Elizabeth with Karl Marx and Engels and Lenin. It was like a claustrophobia of knowledge. Yeah. So I was looking for an opportunity to come out. It was like Vesuvius ready, waiting to explode. Yeah. So I realized that it is cinema which is the place I should find myself comfortable. Yeah. So that is how it started. So this practice like...
Were you the cliched Bengali who Ray Sahab was your, your idol?
I like Ray's film. Pather Pachali is my all-time favorite, but as a filmmaker, Ritik Ghatak is more close to my heart. I try to imitate his work. Okay.
This kind of conversation, Adah, did you have lots? This gentleman has such the vast levels of knowledge, and all Bengalis pride themselves on being very well read. Yeah. They read about everything, A to Z. Yeah. But there's a lot of discussion because this film is a very hardcore film, and now something that you've probably got into the swing of things, like I think you enjoyed the experience of Kerala Story, and of course you will enjoy the box office, which is brilliant. And I'm really happy that it's come to you also, because I think you've just been there as one of the most underrated performers of our.
103 years now, 1922.
See, that's how she is on her Instagram. I love it. It's one of my favorites till now, by the way. Yeah.
Thank
you
you.
walking up the wall.
Thank you.
It's just one of the best.
We didn't have budget, it was not special effects, we
I
actually
know.
did it. Yeah, so
I know. And
thank you.
Your poor eyes also. Apparently, you had to wear things. I remember.
Those lenses,
Yeah.
but it was so cool. It looks like an actual cow's
Yeah,
eye.
if you actually
we
wanna
didn't
see-
have money for special effects, so
Yeah.
I've worn those lenses. You
She's
can't blink. You have
blinded in
to
that.
act like that, like whatever expression you want to do, or did everything with that. But yeah, that's fun.
This gentleman on set, is this like you learning a lot, or just doing it real wise, or did you really want to understand what was the psyche of the characters that you were playing? Also?
No, I definitely want to understand what I'm doing. That is separate.
Yeah.
And I think we can make separate portions of, like Sudipto sir can have conversations like he did with you, intellectual ones. He can talk about food for hours and about his favorite modaks also. Also, he doesn't like fake flowers and he likes real flowers, and he will tell you how he called us for puja to his house and he has real flowers in his house. So his conversations can, I mean, everybody's. I think with Vipul sir also I've had some random conversations also and some work ones also. And the people who you're closest to, you should be able to have both with, I think. Not just ones that are about. But of course we discussed character and everything, and this is an intense film. It's dealing, it has real life, true events, and we should definitely be getting into the character properly, and we did everything we could internally and externally
And very
to...
interestingly, you know what happened is, after Kerala Story, in Kerala Story, we picked up some girls who are the actual victims.
Yes,
right?
yes.
So we told the stories of those victims. Now those victims were confined, they are, hiding behind the four walls and all. After the film, they got voice. Now these girls are all over the country. They are going, they are meeting press, they are doing seminars, they are giving lectures on the manipulative conversion. And all the girls having one idol is Adah Sharma. They always say, ki we gather courage from Adah ji.
And it's the other way around also, because for me, I'm an actor. I have so many people backing me, the filmmakers, and we sit with media who's on our side.
Yeah.
But those girls were telling you their real, true stories. I still message her. She tells you, I message her every award thing.
Yes,
I message her, I send her a photo. And
No, but you're very gracious about that as well. And Vipul sir, I think you're one of the most, how should I say this, most adventurous filmmakers and producers that there is. You've taken on, we were discussing this actually, there's a time you were making the largest films, now you make subjects also that do as large business. Has that been your evolution as well also?
See, my journey started with theatre. So I was a theatre guy. I started as a backstage boy and then evolved as a director in theatre, and then subsequently in TV and film. So in theatre, when you are doing theatre in Prithvi Theatre, where you are doing experimental theatre, you more often than not select subjects which are very, very controversial, so to say, or very intense, let's put it that way. So I did a lot of intense theatre when I was 15, 16, 17, while I was in college. But when I moved into films, I ended up making more commercial entertainers, so to say. But within those also, I always have tried to keep some social issue here and there. And then just before Kerala Story, I made a show called Human, which is on Disney plus Hotstar.
Yes. And Shefali.
Shefali and Kirti Kulari.
Yeah.
And that show is about the corruption that goes into human drug
trafficking,
testing.
yes.
And how the value of human life is so little. Kerala Story in that sense was way more stronger because here you are actually deceiving people. And so it was very, very shaking. And when then I saw the research of Bastar that Sudipto Dada gave me, I mean, see, we all know 76 Jawans were killed in Bastar.
Correct.
We all know JNU celebrated it. But we don't know so many things about so many bad things that have happened in Bastar. Like I was reading a news report where a 4-month-old kid was hit with an iron rod and killed. I came to know about an incident where 8 babies were snatched from their mothers and thrown into the burning fire and burned alive. Then there are these multiple episodes of 52 Jawans killed, 36 Jawans killed, 10 guys killed, 4 Jawans were killed 15 days back. relentless. It's just, and apart from the Jawans, there are so many common people killed. Why? Because one guy hoisted a flag. He was killed in the most barbaric way for hoisting a flag. We have a video recording of his wife, what she went through, how she experienced it. Then you come to know that you can't build roads in Bastar because otherwise Naxalis will kill you. School you can't build, hospital you can't build, mobile towers you can't have. You can't have potable water in your house through a pipeline. So they don't want anything to develop in Bastar. And then there are people sitting in big cities like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Pune, who give them a cover, who justify what they are doing. They try to paint them as some kind of heroes. When I saw all of that, it was shocking. I mean, I knew what was happening in Bastar, but this was a very different level of
Correct. Barbarism actually.
in-depth material which exposed me to such barbaric things that then I was compelled to make the film. Then there was no option but to make this film. And again, our strategy has been very clear that we are going to speak the truth. We are going to be bold about it. We are not going to kind of mollycoddle it and try and make a balancing act or nothing. What is there, and we are going to straight talk about it.
No, I like that actually. A lot of filmmakers now have the voice and the strength, and producers like yourself to be able to support them. There's also a line, and I don't quite agree a lot of the time. These few words keep floating around everywhere. When you say, when a film has a message which is clear-cut, which is hard-hitting, does it become a propaganda-based film? B, I've seen about 5 beautiful biopics which I have loved in the last 5 months. Whether it was my Atal Hoon, whether it's Sam Bahadur, whatever. I know that the people that were sitting with me had no idea about what happened in India, started Googling in Wikipedia while the movie is going on, learned a little bit more. I think people haven't gone enough to school of late to read about all this. I mean, political science and social studies and all these things were something when maybe we were younger, maybe it's not there in schools right now. I think this is an important education for a lot of people as well. Now, in that phase, an 18-year-old today's voice is very different to what it used to be, say, 25 years ago. So there will be this incredible clash of thoughts when they see films like you guys make. Are you thinking, Vipul sir in his mind is very clear he wants to give that part, but as a filmmaker, are you prepared for backlash also, because that person doesn't have to agree with you and you don't have to agree with that person. So in that case, you don't have to make a film that is liked by all.
There is a line in any book on philosophy is logic can fight with logic. Logic cannot fight with illogic. So if the criticism is logical, then we are there to talk to them 24/7.
Right.
We are ready to do that. But if it is illogical, like for example, the word propaganda, it's such a vague word. 76 Jawan been killed or not? Yes, they were. JNU celebrated or not?
Fact.
Yes. So talking about it in front of camera, how come it became a propaganda?
Correct.
Shalini Unnikrishnan existed or not existed?
Correct.
Whether she is still there in the jail in Afghanistan or not? Gitanjali committed suicide or not? Nima Matthew been raped for consecutive 5 days or not? So telling the stories of truth. The truth is always uncomfortable for a section of the people. So they have the problem. So if you call it political, it is political. If you call it emotional, then it is emotional. Thing is very clear that when you will tell the truth, discuss the truth, it will make some people uncomfortable. They will try to resist you. They will try to discredit you. They will try to pull you down. Now it is depending on Vipul sir and to some extent on me that how far we are ready to face them. Vipul sir gave me a clean sheet. Dada, you can go ahead and defend yourself.
So you made close to 300 crores of film. I'm sure you got a clean sheet even to go ahead with this one.
No, I'm not
really. The numbers also.
Not really.
I think one very important factor here is that there was the only big accusation against Kerala Story was 32,000 number, right?
Correct.
32,000 is a wrong number, So on 6th of June last year, we released a video. 17-minute
exactly
video.
After 1 month of the release of the film.
We both shot the video, we given the full data and full account of 32,000 number. And then we reached out to media and we said, look, here is the video. This video is more important than the film itself.
Correct.
Because when people say it's a lie, people need to know that there is this number that exists. 2 days later, every media house called us and said, we can't do a debate because the other side doesn't want to debate on this. Now that they were successful in ignoring the video, and that video went silent, right? Not many people saw it. So not many people know about it. But if you call our film propaganda, then at least have the courage to confront our facts.
Agreed.
Right? If you don't have the courage to confront our facts, and you want, and in most of the cases, like he said, that, you know, all the facts that we are going to show in Bastar, if you cannot fight us on those facts, what are you going to say? You're going to divert the attention, and you will say, oh, it's a propaganda film, it's some political agenda film, it's that film, this film. But when you don't have logic to fight, you don't have facts on your side to fight, what you do, you try and divert. I personally tell him that I don't want to pay attention to those people. If anybody confronts me with logic, like they confronted us, show us the proof of 32,000, we showed. We gave a video account with names. So that is our duty.
Correct.
To stand by our truth. Beyond that, if somebody just wants to make a noise and divert people, it's very easy for youngsters today to, you know, read something on social media and get influenced. But in the long run, the truth always prevails, and that is why when people saw the film, they connected with it so strongly. And the film came on OTT 9 months later on Z5, and it's breaking records even on Z5.
True.
After 9 months.
Absolutely. I mean, that itself was kudos because, you know, and it had a fabulous run at the box office. How has the last year been for you as an actor? Like when you realize all these numbers, listen, there's the return on investment, one of the highest in decades. You know, your name out there, it's like, you know, when a batsman scores a 100, there's one batsman who scored a 100 for India, Karan Chandu. After that, poor fellow's never played for India properly, but had 100.
I hope I got
but just take the first half of that.
Okay.
तो उसका नाम वीरेंद्र सहवाग के साथ लिखा है, उसको कोई हटा नहीं सकता. अब तुम्हारा नाम भी ऐसे जुड़ चुका है, apart from other things as well. Was money made a gratifying experience as an actor also? Because I don't think you come across that kind of person that, okay, 200 crore ban gaye, no problem.
See, 303 crores of your movie has made, that means those many people have gone to watch your movie. So for me as an actor, it matters that people went and watched, and we all work for validation. Whether 10 people saw it and 100 people, if they all like and say good things, I feel very happy. I like. Any sort of validation, I'm very happy. But now 303 crores ka validation, I'm guessing so many people went and watched. But I thought the coolest thing about Vipul sir was he never put he said we'll never do a celebration of the number of the crore on the box office. Our celebration is how many people's hearts we touched, how many people's lives we changed, and that is what we celebrate with ourselves. And a film usually, like a success, you celebrate within your unit of 100, 200 people. This film, I think, was celebrated by the whole country. Everybody decided that is my film. When I meet people now, they don't talk to me like, your film, Kerala Story. It's almost like they're telling me about our film and their experience when they watched it for the 3rd time. And now it's on OTT and they're watching this scene repeatedly for the 6th time. We were traveling by flight that day and we saw how many people in the plane were watching. I was sitting behind in the plane that day. They didn't see me coming in also. So it wasn't just to show me. But how many people were watching Kerala Story? It was so cool.
No, I think a lot of people also wanted to watch it online and say, "Bhai, kya tha is picture mein ki itna paisa kama liya ya itna आवाज आ गया था इसमें?" Which I think you all succeeded on various counts. And yes, Vipul sir has bought 3 more floors also after that. Now, I want to understand how much of you also said that, you know what, there was a great story in there with Kerala Story, did wonderfully well at the box office. So why shouldn't I go down a similar path? Was that also a part that went in there?
Not really. Actually, we had decided that we'll make these 2 films.
Okay. Irrespective of the...
Even before Kerala Story started, there was a possibility that Bastar would have been made first.
Okay.
But then Kerala Story got ready first as a script and we went ahead with that. So that was never the thought. But I think when you come across a very compelling story, and I feel that as a patriotic guy, I love my country, and I think that if I am able to bring any difference by making a film in this country, if I can bring a topic in a social world of our society in a way that cannot be ignored after the film is released, and some changes happen in the society, I think I'm duty bound.
Correct.
In a certain way to do it. We never knew what Kerala Story will do as a box office or whatever, but we were still committed to making Bastar even at that time.
Did you change? So, there's a friend of mine who's a director. I'll take his name. Mohit Suri actually. But I remember when he went on from Bhatt Camp into Balaji, he got a lot more money to make a movie. So he's very close friend. He says, Salil, I didn't know what to do with the extra money. He says, because the film I was going to still make the same way, right? So suddenly there was a larger set to shoot in. There was more air conditioning and there was all this and all. But my thought process in that particular thing to make a good film was, I can make a good film in this much also. Extra money didn't really change too much. So did you pump up Bastar a little bit more?
No, it's the requirement of the story. See, me and Dada, we work together like on every aspect of the film. We are like one team. There is no difference. So whatever the requirement of the film is, I should be able to provide. And in between both of us, there has never been a slightest of disagreement so far.
Really?
Yeah. And like, for example, I can tell you a small example. That we completed the edit and there were 2 shots, literally 2 close-ups, no dialogue, nothing, 2 expressions in the film where I felt that Dada close-up hona chahiye tha. He said, yeah, but us din light chali gayi, you know, jungle mein light jaldi chali jati, I couldn't take. So I said, to fir hum ek din shoot lagate hain aur ye karte hain. He said, nahi, chalega Vipul, I can manage it without those 2 close-ups. And I was saying, nahi, Dada, those 2 close-ups are very, very important. Let's shoot. So it is the other way around. He is actually telling me that
not required.
Let's not waste this money. And I was saying, no, it's one day shoot, doesn't matter. 5 दिन भी करना पड़े करेंगे, but film एकदम perfect होनी चाहिए. इसलिए भी क्योंकि ये film एक सच की बात करे. It's talking about a very, very disturbing truth of our society. This film cannot have any weakness. It cannot have lacunas. It cannot have. Audience should not feel, oh, there I did not see a reaction, so I don't know what was going through that character's mind. So that's how I looked at it. But in our case...
But Dada, you are Bengali. 99% of Bengalis love arguments. We love a good intellectual fight.
विपुल जी के साथ वो स्पेस नहीं मिलता है. विपुल जी is a very rational man. तो क्या होता है कि even if I disagree with him, he understands my disagreement point and vis-a-vis. So बहुत जल्दी शॉर्ट आउट हो जाता है. मतलब प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता है. मतलब उनकी कुछ सजेशन अगर मुझे पसंद नहीं आया, he understood that I am not liking it, so he come up with two, three different options. So that is what I'm saying, that any director will envy me, because how come consecutive 2 films and no fight, no news, no headline, that Vipul Shah and director has a fallout or something. We can make together another 50 films, and I am sure there will be.
Is she going to be in all 50 of them also? I want you to tell me about Adah.
Oh my God, she's the queen of the industry. It will be our privilege to have.
Oh my God, really?
No, but now, point blank, you have Adah on board and you're doing Kerala Story. You will have certain preconceived notions about how she could have been or whatever, back to then to now. Now you spent a considerable amount of time with her.
The only thing is I saw her potential, because
Thank God your nephew told you 1920, then you got happy, no? Till then
my
he was
nephew
not
is a
very
writer,
sure.
and she always, no matter Kerala Story becomes such big, she always mentioned Adah as 1920 ki Adah.
I am telling you now, this is how many years ago now?
2008 I had
Can you imagine?
103 years.
103
Yeah,
years.
But otherwise 16 years ago.
100 saal
I'm
pehle.
serious. I still remember 2 films that were fantastic. One was Ragini MMS 1 and that. These are 2 films I said, yaar ye to actually kam budget mein badi scare kar gayi thi. And that was, those are the days of watching Hollywood cinema but chote budget mein, which would do real good business. So you will always have that as one of the annals. So you got Kerala Story because of 1920.
No, he had signed me on and on, and then he kept meeting me and saying it's a tough role, it's a tough role.
So we have worked together, right?
Yes, of course.
Commando
Yes.
3,
Commando, of course.
and blah, blah, blah.
So Vipul sir got me
So
to
I
meet
had
him.
told him that she's a very versatile actor, but
You
need to be convinced. So you do her audition. I requested her to audition. She happily agreed. So when we did the audition, then he got convinced that Vipul, you are right. She is correct for this role.
He was not convinced so easily that Malayalam thing. He sent it to some people who spoke Malayalam. Malayalam is not my first language. I call up my mother, practice it, and I'm speaking that scene really fast. He went and sent it to those people, and he told me, I said, but And they'll now give. I was like, great. This is not. I'm not going to get this.
He's got to be
So-
thorough. But first day Kerala story, last day Bastar. Depending, I don't know the chronology that you shot it in.
Oh God. Can I see?
But you know, you're just the way she's
No, only thing
delivered.
is, it is for both of us, three of us, we share the same kind of feelings. Adah had the potential. Vipulji, before Kerala story, explored a part of
Yes.
Adah. So from there, he was convinced that she is good for Kerala story. So I was convinced later on. And for Bastar, it was just one phone call that Adah shoot इतने तारीख से है. केरला स्टोरी के लिए डिसीजन लेना हमारे लिए बहुत था क्योंकि केरला that शालिनी उन्नी कृष्णन is a Malayali character. So we were first looking for a Malayali actor. Then we looked for Tamil actor.
Yeah.
So the script is so difficult. It was every actor was feeling insecure to do that character.
Of course.
And Adah Sharma is Adah Sharma.
But these are two
She
extremely
took up-
difficult physical roles to do also. I mean, it's not one of those fancy films of
No.
yours.
It was
No,
very
but for
difficult.
me, like difficult physical.
Even-
it's not for me. It's not like
The
difficult
thing
physical.
is,
It's like
in
difficult physical.
Kerala
Like-
story, not only she acted, her hand acted, her feet acted, every limb of her body acted in that film.
Yes.
And that is how Shalini Unni Krishnan becomes Shalini Krishnan.
Except brain.
Oh, just wonderful. You know, I think rarely is this kind of a combination seen in today's day and age where, you know, director, producer, actor can be so frank with each other. It's a different world, you know.
You know, yeah,
That is why
I
the
agree with
industry is
In a
not
thing of
only
egos.
envious for 300 crore or biggest women-centric film and all, it is for the relationship we share.
Absolutely. But you have that. And for once, 15 minutes before this interview started, I had this most incredible discussion. I'll not name it with who, right here only. How is it that you don't produce every one of Shefali ma'am's films or shows? I heard that she says no to you many times also.
Oh, she does, and I think that
Like when I say no, I mean scripts.
yeah, and so the thing between us is that when it comes to professional things, we keep it very, very professional. I offer her a script where I feel she should play a part. If she doesn't like, she says no. She gets me some scripts and she says, would you like to produce? I've met this person and it's really a very interesting script. I read it. If I don't like, I say no. And
And after that, the dinner's fine.
Absolutely. Really, yeah, because that respect, if you don't give each other. For example, if me and Dada are discussing something and he says, मेरे को ये scene ऐसे नहीं अच्छा लग रहा है. Rather than constantly fighting or trying to convince him, I should respect, okay, my director is not convinced by the scene. How is he going to shoot?
Correct.
Let's think of option. Let's make that scene work, which will work for both of us. I think that respect should be given to every artist. If we are rehearsing with, say, Adah, and we tell her to do a scene in a particular way, if she has a optional way of showing, we don't discard it just because we have thought of it in a certain way. Filmmaking is such a beautiful thing कि आपका spot boy भी आपको कुछ बोल के जाएगा ना, वो कमाल का हो सकता है.
Correct.
So, in that sense, I am a very open-minded person. I like to keep all my antennas fully open.
Absolutely.
For reception of any good suggestion. And I believe that whether it is Shefali or whether it is Dada or whether it is anybody, he has the complete creative freedom to say no to anything I offer, because I think if they come on board without conviction, I will not be able to get the best out of them. There is no point.
So actually, which is such a...
It's a great opportunity for a director also. If producer has a cinematic brain,
Yeah, of course.
then any intelligent filmmaker will take that also. Because end of the day, film will be, it will be seen in the screen.
I think a lot of people, but unfortunately in our
You have to
industry,
just you have to just keep your ego aside.
Exactly.
And if people
And not do
comes up
things for
with
just
some-
friendship's sake, which is a lot of it used to happen when you were also directing. A lot of people
And in
used to
that
just
way,
do
I have
things.
a very, very non-Bengali, you know. Bengalis are known for their egos. I don't have any ego.
Oh, he is
It's unbelievable.
so open-minded and he's so ready to receive. It's unbelievable. Otherwise you can't create the best. And these films, both Kerala Story and Bastar, they are very, very difficult films.
Yes,
They are
of
not
course.
easy films by any stretch of imagination. They are very challenging. Every shot you have to be careful कि हम कुछ गलत मैसेजिंग तो नहीं जा रही है उस शॉट के you know you don't realize when you are shooting कि कोई एक gesture कोई एक ऐसी and suddenly उसका पूरा मतलब बदल जाता है when you see it in the edit. So in both these films it has to be like absolutely perfect. You can't have a wrong gesture also. इतना ध्यान रख के बनाना.
Because our critics are sitting in the auditorium to find out that.
Yeah,
अच्छा
yeah,
वहाँ
yeah.
से लेफ्ट से राइट एक पंछी उड़ के गया वो राइट से लेफ्ट जाना चाहिए था.
So
That's crazy, but Facebook has really changed the world.
Yeah, but that I think is where his openness helps. We all can contribute.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he will say, कि, look, I am the director and
Captain.
you sit in your office. मैं बना के दे दूँगा.
That option was always open to me, but I insisted if there is any complicated scene to be taken, I ensure Vipul ji set पे जाएंगे. ताकि you know, if Vipul ji is there, I always get support from him.
No, I think anyway filmmaking should be a collaborative effort because everyone's energies are being involved in it.
Yes.
It makes sense.
मुझे insecure feel नहीं होता है अगर विपुल जी कुछ suggestion दिए और मैंने उसको ले लिया. I feel secured. So मेरी insecurity sense नहीं है. So I am the richest filmmaker.
No, as an actor, it's very liberating then because there's no trampling of any egos happening on set. They make fun of me also in like a fun way, and then they'll be like, say it this way, say it this way. So I can also push myself to like try it this way, because I know I'm being taken care of, as in if it goes overboard, if it goes messy. Also, there's no trampling of egos, so you're so relaxed. I feel when I'm relaxed, I can give out emotions like being stressed. If I'm already stressed in real life, to behave stressed on screen is very tough for me. If I'm already sad in real life, to cry on screen is very difficult. But if I'm normal and happy and relaxed, I can do everything anybody wants me to do on screen.
This is the real dream team, bros. This isn't propaganda, it really is. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
You know, it's always such a pleasure to actually see people that will take a risk, see how it goes, but you believe the conviction. You know, people used to always say, sometimes a lot of them used to say, चल जाएगी, इसके लिए चला देंगे, उस पैसे के लिए item number डाल देंगे, ये कर देंगे. For years this went on, and I think it still does go on to a large extent. You know, where you sort of set up projects, you do things. People have got smarter, so they want to see them convinced. If the film doesn't do well, that's a different point. But the one party was convinced, and there will be a certain section of the audience that will be convinced with that party. That is enough. So Bastar it is, out in cinemas 13th, right? 15th of March. 15th of March. Go to the cinemas, watch it. If you like it, I mean, the word of mouth will always spread. That's what happened with Kerala Story, and I'm sure it will happen with this one. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.